Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Filled In Podcast. I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil. And this week we watched Percy Jackson, the Lightning Queef.
Shut the fuck up. You said you wouldn't do that one.
All right. I won't do that one anymore. I still think it's a good video title.
Yeah. Well, we can't do it.
I know.
YouTube won't let us.
I think that's kind of...
Oh, speaking of, did you see the fucking email we got?
No.
Dude.
What was it?
I hate YouTube.
Why?
Here, let me get it. Let me pull it up. Let me read it. We fucking lost channel features.
Like what?
I don't know. Like we got out of YouTube's good graces, I guess.
We weren't even on there.
I know. Fucking bullshit. All right, your channel has lost access to advanced features. To keep the community safe, we limit some of our more powerful features to channels who have built and maintained a positive channel history. So we obviously didn't.
We literally have no history.
Yeah. So, fuck you.
Fuck you.
How this impacts your channel. You won't be able to do things like get higher daily limits on streams, shorts, and video uploads, enable live streams, pin comments, and add external links to your video descriptions.
Dude, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm going to... Is there any way we could fight that?
I mean, we're going to have to try and figure out.
All right. Well...
Fucking start a new channel. God damn.
Really?
No, I don't know.
Okay. I was going to be like, so everybody might have to move over to the next...
Yeah.
to the next channel.
Looks like we're getting a second channel.
Hell yeah. And that's not going to be the main channel, YouTube.
That's just fucking stupid. I hate YouTube.
I hate YouTube too. It's one of the companies that I've given so much time and effort to, and they still fuck me any chance they can.
Yeah.
But I know I'm part of the problem.
But anyways, that was just my little rant to start the podcast off.
Nice. Good start.
Yeah, they fucking cucked us on our Enola Holmes video.
Yeah, that was a good video too.
Yeah, that was a good
Well,
one.
it is still coming out, but...
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think that's a good place to start. Sorry about the break.
Yeah.
Took like a month hiatus. We had to sort things out.
Figure out some editing
Yeah.
tactics to get around YouTube. As you can see, didn't work.
Yeah. So
we're no longer in their good graces, which I thought was bound to happen. Not as soon, but
yeah.
at some point.
It hasn't come out yet, but the new Percy Jackson video, if you've seen it, it's going to look a lot better than our other videos.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot more editing, a lot more
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more of a... I don't know how to say this. Like a little bit more of us.
Yeah, a little more personality to it.
Yeah. Get the hang of things. We're getting there. I think it's fun to see this journey that we take across.
Yeah. It just sucks because like I planned on doing this from jump, you know?
Yeah.
It would have been cool if we could do this for our first video and just have had a style immediately.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot of work.
Well, yeah. I mean...
Adding all of like the fucking... Like just even little effects, like adding blurs or adding just anything. It takes like a lot of time.
And the preference to this, everybody... Philip does most of the editing, does all the editing for our podcasts and the videos. I do all like visual stuff for us.
He does all of the cartoons, all of the little guys.
That is not nearly as much work as what Philip needs to put in every time. So it is. And also we will be limiting to like two commentaries and 2 podcasts
a month.
Yeah.
So one a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll just be offset. So you get the commentary. And then you would get our podcast and thoughts about the show after next week. Yeah.
We just also have like normal jobs. So
and lives, yeah. And want to, see the light of day.
If you guys want us to have more videos, maybe think about subscribing.
Yeah, or join our Patreon.
Yeah. Well, now we have to start one.
Yeah, that's the idea. I think that would be so funny if they were just going around looking for a Patreon that doesn't exist.
Like I guess they said they can't add external links, so
could you
we'll have to find it.
Could you imagine some guy in like India or something just has a Patreon called like Filled In?
Oh, I'd be pissed. We just blow up and they start getting money.
And we're just like, what the fuck?
All right, Anyway,
back to Percy Jackson.
Yeah, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a pretty big Percy Jackson fan.
Yep.
I read it as a little kid. I read it like once every other year. Well, I don't read it anymore. I listen to it like in my drives. And you have never really experienced it other than this movie.
I've never experienced
before,
it.
Right?
Never been. Yeah, I've watched these movies like a long time ago. Like, and it was just like on cable kind of thing.
Right.
I never like sat down, like was invested.
Wait, you saw them on cable? That's how you saw it?
Yeah, probably.
That's funny.
Although I did see the second movie with my friend because he liked Percy Jackson, like
Oh.
in high school, I think. But
Mhm.
I don't remember. I don't remember dick from that movie.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah,
So you read the first book after we saw this movie,
yeah. So
just to catch up, and
Me-
you're reading the second book before we watched the second
Yeah,
movie,
mhm,
so you
yeah.
can feel how it feels.
yeah. So I was me and Philip, like we're friends outside of this, so I wanted to experience a lot of the things that Philip loves. So I'm playing BioShock right now, and I'm also reading Percy Jackson. Never read Percy Jackson. I used to give him a lot of shit about it because I was a Harry Potter kid.
Yeah.
Just to give shit about it. But I honestly gave it a I used his Audible and like listened to it,
Mhm.
and it was a pretty solid adventure. Let me tell you though, really fucked you on the movie.
Dude, yeah.
I got I was like, I get it, Percy Jackson fans. Like coming out of like reading that book, I was like, oh my god, this sucks. It was such a weird experience too because watching the movie first and kind of being like, it's whatever,
Mhm.
and then reading the book right after, I was like, oh my god, really got fucked. There's so much more cool shit in here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was just funny because like people have said that in the Percy, I don't know if it's just in the Percy Jackson like fandom or whatever,
Uh-huh.
or if it's just in general, people think it's like one of the worst like book adaptations of all time to movie.
I mean,
I don't know if I would go that far.
what would you say is the worst then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't really think of book adaptations offhand. Like if I'm comparing it to anime, like Avatar's worse.
Yeah,
Death Note is worse.
Death Note is definitely worse.
You know?
Death Note, I don't even think is comparable because that's not even like the same story.
Yeah,
in
they
my
just
mind.
made a
They
different
just
thing.
made a different thing. They gave them all like the same names, but everything else is different. That's
Yeah.
how I view that.
Yeah. The only crossover is that there's a Shinigami in it.
Well, it's crazy because like watching the movie, there's a midsection that just doesn't happen in the book. Thank you. That just doesn't happen like in the book. They just made it up.
Like a third of it. Yeah.
And what kills me is that I was reading the book and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, most of the stuff they do here, pretty easy to do, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like they went.
I feel like a lot of it's in like pretty enclosed spaces too.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
can
they
do that
went-
on a set.
I feel like they went out of their way not to go one for one from the book.
Yeah.
That's kind of pissed me off.
Well, I don't know if they just like didn't read it or if it or what, you know? I mean, they definitely didn't read it. They just like probably got a cliff notes of it.
I mean, I guess, but like, it's weird because like there's some things where I would
And if they
say-
did read it, they only read the first book. Because they did like it's even in the second book. We haven't seen it yet, but I'll spoil a little something for you.
Okay.
The main villain of all 5 of the books they defeat in the second book.
Oh, let me tell you something. So, spoiler alert for Percy Jackson. The villain in the movie is one of his campmates,
Luke.
Luke.
Mhm.
That's right. In the book, he's also a villain, but he's like a twist villain at the very end.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't the main driving force villain,
Yeah.
which oh my god. So like the build up, it's weird because like I knew the twist was coming, but I
Mhm.
still think it was like a good build up. Like reading the book, how they were like trying to figure out like who's the villain who's sending Percy on this quest, and then also who is it the friend that's gonna betray him. I like the prophecy little angle they took with that,
hmm
and it's weird because like in the movie he just comes out, he's like, yeah, the gods fucking suck. I'm the villain. Because like you have like literally no connection with him at all.
Yeah.
And also cut like one of my favorite characters out of the movie.
Really?
Yeah, Ares.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like-
Ares was one of your favorites. huh?
I don't know why I fuck with Ares so much. I just love that he's like a shitty American. He's like, this place is great. I love it here.
Everyone hates each other.
Everyone hates each other. I'm living. And I was just like, that's a weird commentary, but it's so true.
You're like, man, the war god would fuck with us.
I just think there's a lot of things in the book where, and I understand it's not for my age, not for my audience.
Right.
About like a good decade away from its main audience that they're trying to appeal to. So there's like a lot of things that they simplify for kids and stuff, and like try to bring in. They really just brush over Jesus Christ, which I just think is so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's this is like deep into the books. So I doubt you'll ever know this.
Yeah.
But there are like sections that like in the books that he's making now
Mhm.
that feel way worse about that. And I don't know if it's just because I don't know if it feels worse to me because I did experience that as a kid,
Uh,
so it like gets a pass. And now that I'm not a kid and I'm hearing new material, I'm just like, what the fuck?
yeah.
Or if it's just way more ham-fisted in, but like he'll bring things up about like liberal ideals. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's a
Oh.
big one that he
Oh,
brings up.
really?
Yeah. Like there's one character in a book series that he did about Nordic gods
Hmm.
that they're like a they them, and they're they're the son and the daughter, I guess, of Loki. So they're gender fluid,
Yeah,
right?
that makes sense.
And they fucking ram it down your throat.
Oh, really?
Like in a very like everything in the book stops so they can stop and explain like this idea conceptually.
Are these books that you're talking about for like? Would you say those are for an older audience?
No, it's still
Still for
middle
kids?
grade. Yeah.
Okay.
It's middle schoolers, yeah.
Middle schoolers. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what he was like he just really ham-fisted in there, which I get. I get you need to like sit kids down and explain things to them, but
I do and I don't. 'Cause
from
I,
a storytelling standpoint, it wasn't
Yeah.
enjoyable.
I feel like for middle schoolers, I think that they know enough about this world that they would get it. I feel
Mhm.
like you don't have to ham fist it as much.
Yeah,
I feel like if you cut his ham fisting in half, that would be good. But I've not read it, so I couldn't tell you.
right.
There's a lot of media that does this weird thing with gender fluid people and they, them, and where they find like a avenue to take it,
Mhm.
which I understand, but I just think it's like kind of weird instead of just having a normal character. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like in Young Justice, the Halo goes by they them, and I
Mhm.
was like, okay, and they're like, yeah, because I don't really feel like a girl or a person. I was like, well, yeah, because you're kind of a robot, like
You're not
pilot-
a person, so
You're kind of a robot piloting a corpse. See, that's exactly. So like now I feel like we kind of lost the message. I don't want to be like, yeah, you're not a person anymore, but you're also, you're not like not a born person. You took over this dead corpse of a girl. So like that's not I don't feel that's a great caveat for a they them
Yeah.
plot line.
yeah. It needs to be just more of like a normal person.
Yeah, just a
experiencing
character that was they them, yeah.
That's fucking funny.
Well, there's like I know there's another example, but there's like I remember they I saw this clip that they did that in a Transformers cartoon.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a kid's like a recent like Transformers cartoon.
Dude, I
there's,
didn't even know they were doing Transformer shit right now.
Me neither, honestly. But it looked like one of those cartoons that's like on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's not like well produced. Well, I don't want to talk shit. I don't know anything about this show. I just saw this one clip,
Right.
and the robot, the Transformer's like, yeah, I just go by they them. He's like, it just makes more sense for me. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't think I've ever really thought about the genders of the Transformers.
Yeah.
I know
I
there's,
honestly, are there even any female? I thought it was all
there is.
male.
There's a motorcycle that's a girl.
A motorcycle would be a girl. That's
Yeah.
so stupid.
So sexist. She could be a car. Well, I just thought about that, and then like when I really thought about it, I was like, no, there was a female Transformer, and I was like, why does that Transformer have tits? Right? That makes like no sense for at any point. And then I thought about it, I was like, how do the Transformers reproduce? Now you got me thinking about shit that like makes
Where's Optimus Prime's cock? Is now what I want to know.
I want to see where Bumblebee's balls are. And then how does he impregnate another robot? And are they even robots? Is that offensive of me to say robot?
I don't think they are robots. I think they're just aliens from a robot.
Well, I know they're alien. See,
planet.
they're aliens from a robot world,
I
but I
guess.
don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
I don't know what to call them.
It's the same thing where Thor said that like it's just magic. It's just science that's too advanced.
Oh man, I fucking hate. And they do that a little bit. Bringing it back to Percy Jackson, they do that a little bit where they just explain away shit.
Yeah, they
And
do
then-
that.
They're just like, yeah, it's magic. And I was like, okay, I can accept that. And then they try to over-explain and be like, no, see the way that the gods work and the tides roll in. I was like, you should have just said magic. I would have just been like, sure, fuck it.
It's
I
just
don't-
magic.
Yeah. I think it's funny because there was a line in there in
Mhm.
the book where they're like, yeah, all the people that escaped hell, Hercules, Houdini, and I was like, I'm sorry, you gotta run that one back for me a little bit. Houdini, you can't just say that and not give me a little story about that.
I fucking love when he does that, honestly.
I think it's so stupid. It really takes me out of the moment every single time he does it.
And then you sent me a text.
Uh-huh.
I do have a couple questions I want to ask you, but this
Lay
is
it
one
on
of them. You sent me a text saying that you thought we were gonna talk about it, but then we decided to save it for the pod, obviously.
Uh-huh.
That you said that the ending went from good to mid to good. So I just want to know where those sections
All
lined
right,
up.
so I was getting really mad because so the ending had like throughout the whole entire book, Percy's kind of like this uh smart mouth kid who just kind of says what's on his mind, and he's just like, "Fuck these guys, I don't give a fuck." Dude, the way he talks to Ares, I was telling Philip this, I was like, would not have flown. Cause he's like calling him shit, and Harry's was like, you stupid little moral. I was like, real Ares would have fucking murdered your whole family. He didn't give a fuck whose kid you were.
Right.
Cause he's just like, well, you're a dog shithead, Ares. And he's like, oh, cool. Looks like your grandfather's dead.
So
So that's how that would go down if this is real.
yeah.
So when Percy meets all the gods, and he's in that room, and I get you're meeting Zeus and Poseidon and all that, so it's very like scary.
hmm
I wanted him to have like a little bit more of a bite when he talks to them because he's very like, yes, sir. Okay. Yeah. Here's the bolt. This is what happened. No, that's not fair. But I wanted to be like, no, this is dog shit. I can't believe you guys made me go on this whole ass quest and
Yeah.
fucking this guy just had it.
Yeah.
So I think, so it started off really good. I love the fight between him and Ares.
Mhm.
Very solid.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's
I really
awesome.
liked it. If we're being honest, should have got his ass beat pretty fast.
Yeah.
I like the way they kind of just explain it away and be like, the sea protects him. And I was like, okay, sure. But like, if we're being honest, having the God of War just get like railed by a fucking 11-year-old kind of
So funny.
just kills me. So then he
I
meets,
can't wait to see how they adapt that into the TV show. You just see this fucking like Dwayne Johnson
Dwayne
just staring at a fucking
dude. He's just like
year-old.
he's like a fucking skinhead, like biker guy
Yeah.
in the book. And oh my god, another thing, I hate the concept of the mist. The mist is so fucking dumb to me because they're fighting with these swords on the beach, and then later they're like, "Oh yeah, they were just swinging guns at each other." That literally makes less sense. Because like,
Yeah, I don't know why the Mist decides to obscure swords into guns. It's still a weapon.
well, it's funny because they had
It's a weapon that exists in our world.
he had the sword look like as a bat at first, and then it transformed to a sword. But then the humans saw a bat, then a gun, and I was like, "What? Why even do that?" I honestly would make more sense to me if they just had the mist just like cover them, so
You
that
just
none-
can't see anything.
you just can't see anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then all that happens, and then Percy gets betrayed by Luke.
hmm
Great scene, very solid. I think that's like my favorite part of that ending.
hmm
And then he goes back to his mom, and I think it's smart to not just have Percy go in there and beat Gabe's ass.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like kind of it's a sweet moment when he's like his mom is like, I need to fight my own battles and do this for me. And I was
Right.
like, that's really good for kids, like kind of if they're in a bad homestead, like kind of understand that and comprehend like, yeah, my mom should be the one who gets out of the situation.
Right.
But most kids are not the son of Poseidon. So
So drown his ass.
yeah, so like in my mind, I would have bodied that fucking dude. and I think it's cute how later they heavily hint that she just fucking froze Gabe and sold him off
Yeah.
to an auction, which is so funny. But I like and both don't like that.
hmm Well, I like that in general, one thing that I think Percy Jackson does that a lot of other middle grade, like young fantasy things that don't really do
Uh-huh.
is like he has like a loving ass mom.
Yes.
His mom is very present in the series, and
Mhm.
like I feel like it's so much easier for shows like that to just either have really neglectful shit parents or just
Yeah.
make them orphans. You know
Make
what I
them
mean?
orphans. They're with their bad step parents.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we're kind of like supposed to hate Poseidon, but then again, the book does do a good job of explaining like this is this like eternal being.
hmm
So he goes to Percy, he's like, your mom was just beautiful. And he's like, it just is what it is.
Yeah,
And in my mind, I was like, yeah, that's kind of how a god would act. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah. I mean that's how Omni Man acted. No.
Yeah, facts. Omni-Man was worse. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a pet to me.
To your point, he actually does like it was the first time that he met the gods, so I think he was a little more like timid.
Yeah, again,
But eventually
I
he
get it.
does start talking shit to like Zeus and stuff.
Uh-huh.
He's a little snippy.
And I do get it. Like it makes sense in that scenario, but I wish he just had like a little bit more of a bite in that
Mhm.
scenario. The conversation between him and Luke was like, I think really good.
Yeah. Did you catch that Luke has a sword, or did they show you that yet? Luke's
What?
sword.
Oh, that it has like half of it's like for humans and half of it's for
hmm
yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea.
I think that's a
For
cool
a
idea
villain.
too. I was like, ooh, that's a sick idea. Because the moment because again, I knew Luke was gonna betray him because I
Right.
saw this shit ass movie. I like how we just. This is not even us talking about the movie. This is us talking about the book.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I don't give a fuck. I want to talk about the book.
right.
I want to talk about the better of the two things. And okay, and again, I know this is made for middle schoolers. Truly, I do. I do wish he was in high school though.
Yeah.
I think this would play a little better if he was in high school. 'Cause
Yeah.
it makes more sense to me.
Well, he does get it ends in high school, you know.
Yeah, I get. Is he like a freshman? Like, is he going to high school or?
Not yet. I think it ends when he turns 16.
Oh, okay,
So I think for the last 2 books he's in high school technically.
okay. So like
Maybe the last 3 books.
maybe like sophomore. Then I'm assuming.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, man. I think. Does Luke come back?
Yeah.
In the books.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in every book.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Because I think he makes a cool villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has there's a twist that he has that's pretty crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
And his backstory is pretty dark.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I make a bet? Can I make a prediction?
Yeah, I want to hear your guess.
Is he gonna be a double agent?
I'm not going to tell you either way,
Oh, okay.
but I mean, I like your guess. Where
Okay.
do you think that would line up?
I don't know. I just feel like he may have been like on this quest for the gods to stop. What's the Kronos or
Oh yeah. Mhm.
because maybe they saw him getting out or something. I don't know, but that would be my guess. But it would make sense because of the duality of his sword and all the symbolism.
Yeah.
that I don't know why. I just get that vibe.
So, back to the movie.
Okay.
What would you say is your what do you think was something that they did well throughout it? Because it can't be all just shitting on it, you know?
No,
It's gotta be a
it's not like
discourse.
bad. It's just kind of whatever.
Yeah, here's the thing. If I hadn't ever read Percy Jackson and I just saw this movie, I would have just been like,
Eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been horrible. It wouldn't have been great. It would have just been a movie that I saw one time.
There's a lot of things that I think are annoying because like Percy has a bronze sword, right?
Hmm.
Why not just make the sword bronze? For what reason?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that. I just saw us talk about
I think
that
you
editing
did
the
say
video.
that in the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's like I truly don't think it's bad. I don't think it's like a bad movie.
Hmm.
Visual effects were cool.
I think the visual effect for the time, I
For the
think it
time?
came out in 2009 almost.
Uh,
That's pretty good. Like it holds up.
I think they did a good job with like kind of their relationship with the 3 main characters and
Mhm.
stuff. They're not the same characters like in the book though,
No.
at all.
No, Annabeth is kind of 2 characters. They just made her Clarice and Annabeth.
That's so stupid. For what?
Grover is kind of honestly, I think the book does need like a comedic relief. Like, not the book. I think the movie did need like a
Yeah.
comedic relief character.
Yeah, because I do like Grover a little bit more in the
So
movie.
I don't hate him like that, you know?
Mhm.
It just doesn't make sense like throughout the books. Like he like gets powers almost from being scared. Like it becomes a part of like his character. Like it's important, you
Oh,
know?
Okay.
But if it was just like a one-off, I do understand why they would do that. And Percy just felt like he wasn't like he was shittier, but he wasn't like he was sarcastic and snippy, but it wasn't like a good kind to me.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too. I think he just seems like just a fucking blank face protagonist in this movie
Yeah.
to me in my mind. He does it like to the book's credit again. Percy has like a lot of charm and that I don't see like in a lot of these young adult books
Right.
because he has like his own personality. And I think you told me about this.
Yeah. How
He's-
a lot of stories just want you to imprint yourself on the main character.
Yeah, so they're kind of like a blank sheet.
Yeah.
But in this one, it's like his own thing. And you can still, I don't know why authors think that like I'm so dumb that I can't like just
Mhm.
go into a book and just put myself in the hero's mindset.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even authors. Filmmakers do that too. I mean, clearly for this movie. But like, when's the last time you watched the original Star Wars trilogy?
I couldn't even tell
Dude,
you.
Luke Skywalker is so fucking boring as a character.
Dude, he is. I hate when people are like, oh, Luke's one of the best characters. No, he's not. He's not. He's not like, he goes through like really a very small amount of growth. I think he has like a great character moment.
Yeah.
I think he has a great character moment when he fights his dad.
Oh, I
Because
thought you were gonna say when he kissed his sister.
Oh. He didn't know. Okay, shut up. Everybody doesn't talk about the second kiss, too. They kissed twice. And the second one, I think, had tongue.
Ew.
I like, there's a Family Guy bit where he's just like, you did what? When he's talking to his, like, Vader as a Force Ghost.
Is that when they made the like the entire movie, like all of the movies, just
No,
as
I think
episodes?
it was just I think it was a one-off bit.
Oh, it was just a bit.
I think that whole premise is stupid. What do you think they did good in this movie though?
Like the only
Like it's hard,
thing,
right?
yeah. The Lotus Casino Hotel was pretty dope.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Like just that
That was
entire
a good one for one.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense because they were 16 and it's an arcade in the book.
Yeah.
And it was just like straight up gambling.
Yeah.
Like it was just craps.
Yeah, they were just craps. I think Grover had a bunch of hookers,
Yeah.
which I just think is fucking.
I mean, I tell you what, that'll keep me
I'll
there
tell you what,
forever.
he just has his goat legs out, and they don't even doesn't even come close to them thinking about it.
They're just like, that's dope.
That's dope. There's so many little characters they just like miss the opportunity to get in this movie. Like when they're going to hell, they're talking to the Chiron. Chiron's just like this British guy that's just like, I don't get paid enough for this shit, eh? I think that's funny. I think that's funny for the book to do that. They don't even do that in the I hate when I see an adaptation of something and I know they don't really love the source material.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, which in my mind, why the fuck would you even make it?
Money.
Yeah. But the thing is that you can find, I mean, I'm thinking of it in like a studio perspective. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You can find someone who's a good director and also enjoys a series. And they can just make that series and make it good. You know what I mean?
They had a guy that hates superheroes make a superhero movie.
Yeah, I know. And he made like 20.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I just think Superman's fucking lame. Oh, we should give him the rights to make the Superman vs. Batman movie, obviously.
And
Idiot.
The Man of Steel.
And Man of Steel. What? How the fuck does it even make sense?
Yeah. Fuck Zack Snyder.
I'll say it once, I'll say it a million times.
Dude,
fucking hate
I don't even
Snyder.
like his non-superhero movies.
Yeah, come at me, nerd cucks. I'll say it. Keep this in. I'm just it's just hard because like I see so much like wasted potential with this because I think it could have been good. I think the cast was like pretty solid.
Mhm.
And I think they kind of like nail everyone's look for the most part
Mhm.
and like how it's supposed to look. I think Camp Half Blood looks great. I would want to go there.
Mhm. Have you ever read Harry Potter? Or did
Yeah.
you only see it?
No, I read Harry Potter.
You read them?
It's been a while since I read them though, but I have read all. Of
Do
them.
you know how much they had to cut for the movies? Like, is it mostly all there? Or did they cut stuff? Like,
They cut a lot.
they did cut a lot?
There's like a whole plot lines that are missing.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but they're like whole plot lines, but they're it's hard to explain because I think Harry Potter does it in a good way in my
Mhm.
mind because they cut they trim the fat because in the movies you just want main plot
Yeah, you can't show everything.
because like there's like a whole arc about Hermione getting like rights for elves and stuff
Oh, really?
and they just cut that, which in my mind I was like, I guess from a storytelling perspective I get it
Hmm.
because I don't want to waste time on like this stuff.
Right.
Harry, honestly, they kind of changed a little around Harry's character a little bit too.
Did they really?
He's like a little more. He gets like a little bit more angsty near the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Um,
could see that.
Yeah, but in the movies, I think they do that, but it's in a different way. I think it's like it makes in my mind it makes sense in the movies how they did things.
Okay.
Yeah, so I
Do you think it would have worked better as a? I like that the new Percy Jackson that's coming out is going to be a show.
Yeah.
So I think that gives it enough time to be able to hit all of the points and not really trim anything out. I mean, there's going to be some, but
you know what's funny is that
do you think Harry Potter would have worked better as a series rather than as an actual movie, just a big budget series?
I think I think honestly any book series would work better as a TV series.
Yeah.
because you have more time to develop and work with all these characters.
Yeah.
But I still really love the movies. I think the movies do a really good job.
Yeah.
Still,
I'm excited for that.
dude. Because
We're going to have to wait till we get a little bit decent of an audience to do a big marathon like that.
yeah.
But an 8-book commentary, too? That's going to
Yeah.
be like a 3-hour commentary.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. And you know what's funny? So like it's just like with Percy Jackson, they cut like a lot of things. Like there's a guy who like says riddles in like the part where they're doing a maze and there's
Mhm.
like little other magical stuff that happens. But I think the difference is in Harry Potter, there's a love for that source material because
Mhm.
you can see like there's little references to stuff in the books in the background
Yeah.
or they talk about it or they offhand say something about it. I feel like those people in my mind read the book.
Yeah.
Watching this movie, I don't think they read the book.
Yeah.
I think they got the beginning and the end. Dude, they didn't even get the fucking main crux of the story.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, and I just think it's funny because like on a conceptual level, there are differences, but they're pretty similar stories.
Uh,
It's just funny that one of them became like arguably one of the best book adaptations ever put to screen, and one became one of the worst.
Do you think there's an alternate reality where that's the opposite?
It's reversed.
Yeah.
I bet so. I bet it is.
I mean, as a Percy Jackson fan, do you feel like slighted by this movie?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did when I saw it. I remember the first time I saw it, I pirated it just because that
was a joke, everybody. We paid for everything legally.
No, I was like
YouTube.
10. I was 10 and I put like porn viruses on my grandma's computer. Dude, speaking of, actually, before I get into this is a funny ass story about that.
Lay it on me.
So I used to pirate a lot of stuff just because I didn't really know.
As you do.
Yeah. I tried to pirate a video game one time. I tried to pirate a movie one time, and it wasn't like downloading things. It was just watching it like on a browser or whatever.
You know what's funny is that like when I was a kid, I always was like, oh, I'll never get a virus on my computer because I won't download any of this stuff, not knowing that the viewer still also would fuck your computer.
Yeah. And I remember one time knowing full well that it was my fault and that I did it. I remember talking to my grandma, and she was on her computer, and I was trying to show her, I think I was trying to buy Minecraft at the time. And I was showing her, and then a pop-up of just like a girl getting railed. Like just boom, right on the camera.
Nice.
And she was like, yo, what the fuck is that? I was like, I don't know.
I
don't know.
Grandpa, what are you doing here? That's so funny. I think it's so funny because I met your grandma.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
I know.
I have a if you want to do one more tidbit, I got a worse story than that.
Let's hear it.
So when I was a kid, I didn't have my own laptop, so I used to use a family computer.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of the living room. So I had to wait for everybody to leave to watch porn.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do it. Private browser, jacket, we're done.
You were doing private browsers back then?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
You're like, that's impressive. Well, you say that, but there was one day where I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I left it on the history. My niece is using the computer, and I'm in my room just chilling. All I hear is like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, what happened out there? And she's like, where did you find that? And I later found out that my niece just like found one of the tabs was like open or something. It was like going through it. It would just be like, what is this? And she was like real little.
Yeah.
And then my mom came in my room. She's like, Phil, do you know about this? I was like, what? And I looked at it. I was like, that's so funny. I was like, how would she even know about that? Completely lying to my mom. I was like,
just stone cold.
Stone cold. I take this shit to my grave. So I was just like, that's so weird. How would she even know about that? And then she went to like my dad. And my dad's like, my mom's like, are you fucking watching porn on our computer? He's like, couple things. He's like, I'm gonna run down. Was it me? A. B, if it was me, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I pay the bills in this house. He's like, if I want to jack off in the middle of the day, I will. He's like, I did it. That's not the site I use, but still. He's like, don't come at me with that energy.
You know what site was it?
It was like Juggy or Jugs or something.
That tracks with your personality.
Shut up. Whatever. I don't care. It was like one of those porn sites that I'm just like, oh man, this is where the best shit comes in, man.
Yeah.
Pornhub's like whack, whatever. You need to use this. It was like one of that energy porn site.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
okay, so back to Percy Jackson. Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
I was like 10 when I first watched it, and I just pirated it, and I was sitting in like the TV room watching it, and I was just like speechless. I was like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, dude?
Ruined my day.
I think that's so funny you say that because I remember being a kid and you just have a thought that you're like, it's going to be just like this, but live action.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what movie I thought that for. I remember having that exact same crushing feeling where...
Do you think it was Avatar?
Could have been.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet it was.
Yeah.
I was in the movie theater for Avatar.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw it with my dad. And he was like, well, so what? He knew I was a fan. He's like, so what'd you think? I didn't have the heart to be like, dog shit. Dog shit. I hated every minute of that. And then there's like that moment where you're like, maybe it was good.
Maybe I just got to give it another try.
Give it another try. And then I was like, this is dog shit. I hate this. Just that soul crushing reality that I think that's the first moment you realize that Hollywood doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
And it kind of hurts.
Yeah, I remember I saw it on I think I was at home when I saw it, but I don't even think I finished it. I think I got like halfway through and I was like, this is awful.
Dog shit, yeah. Dog shit. Yeah, man. You like, what's one good thing about it? I was like, I mean, it's not like horrible. It's not awful, but I think the worst, and I've said this a million times, I think the worst thing a movie can be is boring.
Yeah.
And that movie was like a little bit more boring to me.
Which one?
Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
It was
pretty
honestly,
boring.
After reading the book and becoming a little bit of a fan, fucking hate it. I hate this movie.
Yeah.
The movie kind of pissed me off.
It just sucks because it feels like a paint by the numbers young adult like action.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like it doesn't have an identity.
That's a great way of putting it.
You know, it
Yeah,
doesn't have
there's
anything
no
about
like
it.
love or commitment in it. There's nothing like, I know nobody in that fucking set read that book. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Rick wrote he tweeted this, like the letter that he wrote to the movie theater before the movie came out, and it was like he dug into him.
Oh,
He was-
really?
Yeah.
Good. Fuck him.
He was like, "Do not put this movie out." He's like,
He's like, this is horseshit.
"Yeah."
You killed one of the main guys.
He was like,
Going forward.
He was like, "This is gonna be a monetary nightmare for you guys if you put the don't do it."
And they're like, he doesn't know what he's saying.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, we've been going for a while.
Yeah, we have been going for a while. What would you rate this movie overall?
I'll give it 2 ratings. I'll give it a rating as a Percy Jackson fan, and I'll give it a rating as a movie.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So my rating, comparing it to the book, 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
My rating for it not being compared to the book, low 5. No. Yeah. High 4, low 5. Probably high 4 out of 10. What about you?
Solid 4.
Solid 4?
Solid 4. Bordering on 3. I just think it's boring.
Yeah, it's
I-
boring.
Honestly, maybe it's because I'm a little more heated because I just read him, but really missed out on a lot of opportunities for cool shit.
Yeah.
A lot of cool shit that could have been done. And you sacrifice a fight with Hades for this random camper with like wings on his feet.
Yeah.
That kind of pisses me off.
Oh, and speaking of wings on his feet, last thing I'll bring up, it's so funny that like that had a very specific reason for existing
yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, I just need to get like something you could get with a ladder. That's the only reason it existed.
Yeah, because like in the book, they're like made to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was by the book, fucking teen adventure.
Yeah, paint by the numbers.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty like whatever.
And you know what's funny?
What?
Second one's worse.
So, I don't know if I'm more excited or worse. So we're gonna see how that goes.
All right, everybody. I think we'll end it there.
All right. This has been the Filled In Podcast. I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And you've just been
Filled in.